All right. Hey, welcome back to the GO4CEO channel. This is John the Bomb. Building others means business. And this is so cool. All right. You're going to be in for a treat today. I'm on a golf course hosting some clients at a cool event for a local BMW dealership. And this lady is there with energy and fire and just passionate about her brand, Hermanas Amigas Tequila. So I'm thinking to myself, what are these three ladies sitting here for? What do they do? And they give us a shot of this incredible tequila. What a great experience. We took a picture of it. We put it on Instagram. And I said, hey, how'd you like to be on the GO4CEO channel? And she said yes. So I'm super excited. Toya, founder of Hermanas Amigas Tequila. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Excited to have you on. And, this is the GO4CEO channel, right? We tell the stories of CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, and actually, just mindset and what you're doing and how you're putting formulas together and what your ideation is and all that stuff. So we usually start with, how did you think of this, Hermanas Amigas? Were you in the field of the spirits business? Did you just come up with the idea out of the blue? Was it maybe a sister or an uncle or someone that inspired you. But tell us that story and how did this come up about?
Oh, wow, this is an interesting story. Actually, I've been in healthcare in the nursing department for over 30 years. Then maybe about 15 years ago, I started a business helping international medical doctors become licensed U.S. physicians here in America.
Hmm.
Um, and during that process, I lost my mother, husband, and brother all within a year and a half apart. So I was able to quit my job in the hospital and I focused on my student business. But through the process of so much grief, I could not really move. I couldn't get out of bed. But I have these four best friends who are all in their own right CEOs. They're all over the University of Illinois hospitals, own their own home health agencies, chief nursing officers of nursing. And these four women would come over every Friday night, but one of them moved in with me for 2 months because I had this 12-year-old daughter, and I literally, my whole nucleus had left me. I literally had no one. And I had other siblings, but I just could not move. And so every Friday, to lift up my spirits, these four women will come over and we'll bring a bottle of tequila. And after about 6 months, I'm sitting here after everyone's gone, and I say, none of this tequila represents us. Uh, it doesn't tell our stories. It doesn't tell uh, about women and the bonds that they share. And all of these women are at the top of their game. And I always tell people, I said, yes, Oprah has a gal. I said, but I have four gals. And these four gals pulled me through. And so the last Friday they came over, I said, guys, my daughter's going away to college in California. I'm going to get a place in California too. But in that process, I'm going to build us a tequila. I'm going to make a tequila. And this tequila is going to be a love letter to you. And because it was because of you four that made me want to live again. You held me accountable. And I went on a 3-year journey to build a tequila that was a love letter, Hermanas Amigas, which means sister friend. And it was a love letter to my sister friend. And that's
Hmm.
how this tequila came about.
That is so awesome. And through some tragic times in life, obviously you kind of find out who your warriors are, who your
Yes,
tribe is, right? And
yes.
so cool. Now, are any of them related to you, or they were just kind of friends
No,
that stepped up to the?
we've all been friends for over 30 years. We all met in the hospital setting, or just became friends, but we're all, it's funny because every last one of them is either a doctor, a nurse, or a CEO of their own health agency. So there's nothing I could give these women. They didn't need anything from me materialistically, financially. I couldn't buy them a gift, you know. And so this is all I could do was to name a tequila in their honor. So it's a love letter.
That's so inspiring. And I'm assuming the bottle also has some sort of description on there that shares
Exactly.
the story. Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted the bottle to look sort of like a diamond or a perfume bottle. And then the women, the four women that are on the bottle, if you were to look, let me see if I can pull it up here, if you could see it. You see their interlocking arms. So they're holding hands and they're holding each other up. And that's what these wonderful women did for me. They held me up. They held me accountable when I couldn't hold up myself. So that is really, and it's for our love of tequila. And it's doing fantastic. And not only women love it, but men love it. So I'm working night and day. I was at a store last night. I sold out. So I'm just really, yes, you do want to make money, but my love for tequila was truly born out of love for my sister friends. And that's why I went into this business. But I think I am a entrepreneur just by spirit.
I love it. Well, you're in the spirits game, right? So that's awesome,
Exactly.
right? So, it's really interesting, right? You take something that happened, you get a tribe around you, you get
Mhm.
this idea of this time spent, and then you start to think, wow, I can get this to the marketplace because the story is what sells, right? The story of Hermanas Amigas, sister friends, a group of people that just supported you, Toya, and all of a sudden you go on this 3-year journey. So why don't we go back a little bit? When you say a 3-year journey, what did you start to research? How did you start to develop the idea or the concept of, okay, well, I can get into the spirits game. Where
Yeah.
do I start? That might be a great story for people on the Go4CEO channel thinking like, hey, I'd like to start my own spirit myself, but I don't know where to start. So what did you do? Did you Google some
So
things? Did you?
yeah, I totally researched. I talked to a couple of people that I know that were buyers. And then I started going back and forth to Mexico and
Mm,
going to Guadalajara, to the Jalisco, the state of Jalisco, the place where all tequilas are made. And I found a distillery, and they were so excited for me. And during this time, I'm grieving, so I'm crying every distillery I go to. I'm crying, and
mm,
just at this one, I feel really felt sympathy for me that this woman is traveling back and forth to accomplish this dream, and I connected with this distillery, and they said, okay, let's put a palette together. And what do you, let's do the bottle. I said, no. I said, I have in my mind what I want the bottle to look like. I said, I have in my mind what I want the label to look like. And I said, I would just need to come back and start working on the palette of what I want it to taste like. And so I came back to California. And then the next weekend, I flew into Chicago and I met with this artist. And I just told him the dream of the vision that I had of these four women on a bottle, women that looks like women of different ethnicities, different, race. And I wanted them to show that they were interlocking. So he just drew something, but this is what I had in mind. And and I told him what I want the bottle to look like. So when I went back the next month to the distillery, they're like, well, you've done all our work for us. Usually we help you create the label, we help you design the bottle. I said, no, this is what was in my head. This is what I had. This is the dream I had. And so from there on out, I would stay a month. And December, my daughter, when she get out for spring break, we'll stay the whole month of December. And I would taste and see mix until I got the perfect taste that I felt was different for my first tequila, which is a Blanca. The Hermanas Amigas one is a Blanca, and it tastes like no other Blanco to me. And that's really, I researched the laws. I had four, and then I found I had to get four lawyers. So I had four lawyers. Then I trademarked it. So I just got the patent for my trademark that I own Hermanas Amigas itself. So it was just a lot of research. And I did all this by myself because I needed it. It helped me not think of my loss. I was married for 18 years. And that was the only man I've ever, known. And so, and my mom, and then my favorite brother. So that really, I think, being able to research and figure out the tobacco and licensing laws, it was what I needed to help me through grief.
Yeah, no, it's, and part of life is in a sense staying busy, right?
Mhm.
Not kind of being in the lulls of what we call depression or something like that, right? And get lifting yourself up. The started obviously with your beautiful friends and the amigas coming over on Fridays, and that one that stayed with you for a while to kind of support you. And well, it's so interesting. Then you started going to Mexico, and again, you sold it based on your story, based on what was going
And
on,
I
and you
did not
connected with.
even know. And that's it. I didn't know the story was that. All I knew was I was doing my story, the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had some friends in Hollywood, and we was out to lunch one day. I remember at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, and he said, Toya, he said, I'm gonna tell you. He said, the taste is great. He said, the bottle is fantastic. He said, but really, it's this story. He said, what got me sitting here with you is this story. And I said, but it's to me, okay, it's a story, but it's my life. I went through all this tragedy and this saved me.
Yeah,
And so it is the story. And it's
that's awesome.
great tasting. And it's a great tasting tequila.
I love it. I love it. And so I guess you find the distillery,
Yeah.
you come back to Chicago, you get an artist and kind of blend it in with your imagination of what you wanted it to look like. What does that process start to be from a opening up a spirits line of business and a tequila bottle?
Yeah.
Tell us, I guess, that process of it. Where did you start to find out? I guess, could you sell it direct to consumer? Did you go online?
I
How does
know.
that work for you?
Everyone that I've worked with, from the four lawyers to the distillery to the distributor, everyone I worked with said, I did everything like they've never seen before. Because
Wow.
it was just me and only my money. And, so it was like, woman, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing is working. So I did the product, and then after the product was complete, and I had to find out what is called a GSI code, which is the scan code that goes on the label uh, from the bottle. And but then they, like, even before we get to getting your approval here in Mexico, you need to get an importer. Okay, which I'm like, oh God, no one knows this woman who's gonna want to import a tequila that no one knows, no one's heard of. But I had a friend that's a federal judge, and she had a friend that owned a distribution. He was an importer. He's an importer.
Mm.
And I remember I had called this guy one day, and he was like a fast moving guy. And he was like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. Do you have this? You gonna need a celebrity to do it. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna use a celebrity. This is not, I don't want a rapper or anyone, doing this. I said, we're all educated, established women who like luxury tequila. This is where I'm going with this. And I was like, oh, this guy is dope. No, thank you. So I'm like trying to reach all these big importers, and no one's returning my call. It's so hard. So when I spoke with my lawyer, this last lawyer I had to get, who was just a wonderful guy, um, and he's so well known in the spirit industry. He goes, I'm going to introduce you to this guy, Toya. He's like a boutique importer, and this is what you need for your brand. You need a small, you're starting off small. And so let me introduce you to this gentleman. And he tells me the gentleman's name, and I automatically go, no, I don't like him. I've spoken to that guy, and I don't like him. He was too fast moving. He told me I needed a rapper. He told me I needed all of these things for this brand. And he goes, give me an hour. Give me 30 minutes. He said, and then I want you to call him. I said, okay, but I'm telling you now, I don't like them and I don't want to work with them because I am such a I love people and I'm kind and I'm not confrontational. I'm a caregiver. I'm a caretaker. And so this guy was just too spastic for me. And so he called me. He said, give the guy a call. And I'm like, oh goodness. So I called the guy and he go, okay, you finally called me back, huh? And I go, yeah, I called you back. He said, I knew you would. I said, okay. He said, but what do you need? And I told him, I said, I need all of your information to be shipped to to be faxed and emailed to Mexico so that you can be my importer and get my tequila here into the US. And he said, I heard your story and I like it. And I'm sorry for you. He said, we can work together. And you know that this gentleman, and we've only been working together now a year and a half, and he's my best friend. We talk every
Oh,
morning, every evening, we lunch together. I was talking to him last night when I came home from the store, and we laugh. And he'll call me a day, and like if I don't talk to him by 12, he'll be like, "Hey, you ain't called me. What's going on?" We are the best of friends. We were meant, and he told me, he said, in the 30 years of doing this, I've never, he said, usually people come with an extremely amount of money so they can do really big marketing and all of this. He said, you're doing it like I haven't seen it done in years, the old way. He said, but you're doing it the best I've ever seen. He said, I haven't seen anything like this. I'm in 35 stores and I haven't even been out a year.
that's
Not
awesome.
a
Well,
year.
you're doing it grassroots, right? They call it
I'm doing
bootstrapping, grassroots, many different ways to describe it, but you've got that hustle
I
in
do.
you, and it's that inspiration behind you of obviously the loss that you went through and that energy that you're getting from your hermanas amigas, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
awesome. So you get the distribution, and you finally click with this guy after some alignment. In my book,
Experiment.
yeah, in my book, I talk about in chapter 2. After you assess your
I read
issue.
that part in your book. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
thank you, thank you. So
yes.
it talks about it, right? Like the alignment needed that attorney to tell him the right way to deal with you, so that you guys could become these incredible union and connection,
Yeah.
right? And now that's propelled you to 35 stores and rocking and rolling. So, all right, so you get the distribution rights. You
Yeah,
obviously did the trademarking,
I
you
did.
did the development, the artistry of it, and everything. But what is it like to get into that first store, and how much capital do you need? Because you talked about the distribution guy said, "Hey, man, typically people with millions of dollars do this," and
Yeah,
obviously you did it with your own means. What
my
was that
own
like? What was that sharing?
hard. It was hard, and it's still hard because I used all of my savings. Um, and I had a daughter in a private college. I had a home in California, a home in Chicago. This was really it's been a difficult journey, which typically, you know, you will need a lot of money. But I did it maybe a little cheaper than others, maybe like 500,000. And it's just because I believe in it so that I know it's bigger than me. That's how I feel. This whole thing is bigger than me. Um, the people that my daughter graduated from college in May from Westmont in Santa Barbara. I've
Mm,
met so many people, and then I go to Montecito and you meet, and so I've been at the right places at the right time to meet the right people. And I think that's what has helped me. And then when they hear my story, they're like, how are you standing? And I said, because I immerse myself in work. But it is a hard journey. And it is not only hard because people don't know me, you know. So you have to get out here and you have to sell. So I go to all my own tastings. Like I was at a tasting last night. And it is very hard because this is not a first of all, it's not a platform that women are predominantly in. It's a male-driven platform, tequila. And then I'm an African American woman. That one is within itself is people are shocked, to be honest. The people in Mexico used to be so happy to see me because they said, we never see you. Hi, come and do this. So it was wonderful. But it's been so well received. And yes, people are shocked that I am a Black woman doing a tequila. And
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, that was one of the intriguing part. I think your energy is what intrigued me when we rolled up to the hole and I saw the tent and the
Yeah.
the four ladies there, and then you told a really quick version of what Hermanas Amigas was about, and I was intrigued, and I'm like, man, I gotta have her on the
Oh,
podcast, right, and
yeah.
be able to do what I can to share kind of an evergreen marketing, point of view. So tell us, obviously you get into that first store, and then are these kind of boutique stores that are giving you a chance through this distribution?
Um,
What's that feel like, and what's that business like?
it's you have to, it is a form of proving yourself. To get into the store, you have to do a tasting. And that depends on if it sells, then they'll know if they want to order, more and more. So the first store that I was at, I sold out.
Oh
And
wow.
then the next store after, and I'm still selling out to this day, but I'm still proving myself because I've only been out 10 months. But everywhere I go, and I'm not just sound grandiose or anything, I sell out. And people are happy to see me, people, because I'm usually there's a table, but I'm never behind the table because I'm a touch person. I love people. I'm a caregiver. And so they want to, and then everyone wants to tell me their story. And then the women want to bring, this is my gal, these are my sister friends. And the men are like in shock. And they're like, because once they taste it, they don't expect it to taste like that. So
Yeah.
I go to every tasting myself, and people are like, other tequila guys are like, you don't have to go to these tastings. You can hire people, that do tastings. There are companies for that? Yes, but they can't tell my story the way I can. I know as I grow, I won't be able to do this, but I will train people. Because if I'm not at a tasting, my hermanas amigas, my sister friends do this. These women get off their 9 to 5 jobs as being head of companies and hospitals, and they go to a liquor store and do tastings for me.
Wow. That is so awesome.
Because we feel that can't no one tell the story like we can, because it's
Yeah.
our story.
Oh,
So
that
I
was your story. And I can imagine, as you get bigger, maybe doing something where you have kind of a screen that pops up a video and maybe shares that story in that sense when it's
awesome.
becomes,
Yeah,
multi places that you can't
yeah,
be at all at one time. But this story right now is so cool. And even your hermanas amigas, right? They're
yeah,
going off of their 9 to 5s and
yeah,
coming in and supporting you. So
exactly.
so again, tell a little bit about the business side, right? So you're in the store. You
Yeah,
say that these tastings are what kind of puts your brand on the shelf.
yeah,
And then is it at the tasting that, let's say you have 10 bottles, and you tell me how this goes. That tasting, then if people buy, then they order more from you?
yeah. Then they order more. Like last night, I had a line, and it was 2 other tequila brands in the store,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were not down there, and they were there with me, and I had a line, and we sold out, and then they see because I have a huge poster of myself with my tequila, and they're like, "This is you. You're here." And then they want to take a picture, and then I sign bottles, and they are shocked, especially if I'm in an African American neighborhood, and I'm at a store there. Not to differentiate race, but they are really in battle. They are really like, "Oh my God, we don't see that."
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it's awesome. And so last night I had a Hispanic woman who bought a bottle, and she said, "I love tequila and I know tequila." She said, "This is the best tequila I've ever tasted. Can we take a picture together?" And I'm like, "Yes." And so I could tell the owners were looking like, "What is with this chick?" And I had one of my amigas there, and she's like, "No, you stand out here, we'll pour. we'll do this. Then another one called to say, are you by yourself? Because I'm on my way. I'm like, no, Carolyn's here with me. And so it's my love for people, and they know that it's genuine, and then it tastes great. So they buy the tequila, and then I'm like, okay, I'm out. We haven't any more to sell. And then the store, they'll call my the salesperson for the distributor, and they'll order more. So it
Nice,
really
nice.
goes. And and what I know and what I feel is that it only takes just all, like I tell my student doctors when they're applying for residency with my other company, they always like, oh, I hope I get interviews, because you have to have an interview to get into a residency program. I hope I get 4 or 5 interviews. And I always tell them, all you need is one. You only need one. You ace that one and you're good. So I feel I only needed to get into the right hands of one person. And it's going to take me farther than I've ever dreamed. And that's truly what I believe.
Yeah, yeah. And are you in the local Chicagoland area right now? Is that kind
I
of where you're?
am. I am in
Okay.
33 stores in Chicago. I just applied for license for Texas because I was in Texas for a meeting there about 3 weeks ago. I applied for license in California because I'm in California often. I'm hosting a party in Hollywood on the 18th of October with some
Oh,
people from HBO. I don't know if you know the show The White Lotus.
oh, of course, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
all them guys are my friends.
No way.
Yes. Oh, I wish I could pull the pictures. But I see when I'm in LA, I'm with them all the time.
Oh
Um,
man,
and
my wife and
so
I have enjoyed, yeah, the Italy one, and then I
oh,
think
the Italy,
Singapore one.
So
Yeah.
the Italy one with Sabrina Peccatori, who played the hotel manager. She's really my close friend, and she's now
Oh
doing
wow.
a show that just launched on Peacock called Paper. It's the reboot
Okay.
of The Office from Steve Carell. And they
Oh,
renewed it. It just released last week, and they renewed it already for a second season. It is fabulous. You have to watch it. And
I
Sabrina
love it.
from Lotus is the star of this show called The Paper.
Well, I mean, it's so interesting, right? Again, alignment in life where God places you to have these relationships, and even though through the tragedy that happened, and obviously the feelings that you have from that, these other sisters came around you, but you've had this kind of seed planted by the relationships that you have, and now you're being able to explore those relationships like this one, and it does help obviously from a branding side for people to kind of lift up that glass or share that post or put that comment out there that they're connected and they really feel a
Yeah.
passion for it. But I love it that it's starting in the grassroots too in the Chicagoland area. Now, are you in certain types of boutique stores, or are you in any bigger brands? Where are you at right
Yeah,
now so we could share?
I'm in a lot of small boutique liquor stores, but I'm also in 3 Bennies here in the Chicagoland area. I'm
Oh
in
wow, that's awesome.
Benny's in Evergreen Park. I'm in the Benny's in Hyde Park, and I'm in the Benny's in Orland. I'm in some liquor stores in Aurora, but I want to get into the Benny's in Naperville because I get calls from the BMW dealership saying, "Hey, people are asking where do they get this tequila from?" So I'm going to try to make sure that the Benny's in Naperville get it, but I am meeting with like Total Wines, which is a big West Coast liquor store in Texas and California. And so I really want to grow it. But this is where it started. So that's why I'm here so much to get the word out, because I'm just an African American woman from the South Side of Chicago with her own tequila.
I
And
love it.
this is where I started from, right? So that's why I really want people to know about it, and I want young people to see that anything is possible. My daughter just got accepted to Oxford yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, next for June for a summer semester. So all of this is totally foreign, but yeah. So it
Look, I
is.
mean, and you're still doing your initial business, right, of the doctor
I'm
placement side
still
of things.
doing my like this is the match season, so It's crazy. I'm going over a lot of personal statements because they're from, you could be a doctor in your country, but you're not here because you didn't go to residency here. So all of these guys are fantastic. Some of them are surgeons and OBGYNs, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a surgery residence. So, apply for an internal medicine, apply for family medicine. But it's their journey is so hard. And many of them are so poor, but they family will auction up their farm to bring these kids here to do these rotations and take these tests to become this US doctor. And I think I look at their hustle and see that they come to this foreign country and make it. Why can't I do my dream?
Being
They
born
come
here.
here and
God, I love that.
yeah,
I
and
love
their
it. I
parents
love
are
it.
like,
Well,
we sold our farm. We sold our Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I'm surrounded by dreamers because your chance of being in a residency, getting picked for a residency, is really slim. So I'm surrounded by dreamers. And I always tell them, all you need is one interview, ace that one interview to get that residency spot, and you'll get it.
I love it.
And so
There's a book by Ed Milet. It's called One More, I believe, and he talks about
okay.
when you're working out, that one more rep, when you're meeting people, that one more person, when you're reading the book, that next one more page. So it's a similar philosophy about just one time, could meet the person that just changes your life, which is so cool. And obviously, your doctor business to your tequila business, you're doing that and impacting people. So tell us in the tequila side, because it's so interesting, right? It's such a different business, and they came through
Totally.
inspiration. What are some of the things that you've seen that are challenges, let's say from a funding perspective? Are you seeing the challenges of, hey, because the brand doesn't have a large exposure, that you start with boutique stores and then now you're going to jump into maybe, a little bit bigger, like you said, Binny's and some of these other places?
Definitely. Because if you see the tequilas now, they're all celebrity endorsed, and people don't know that these celebrities they didn't make this tequila. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
go to Mexico and do the palate. They're really just the face of a company that owns the tequila. And they asked them, hey, can we say this your tequila? And they put their name on it, and hey, boom, it sells. And 9 times out of 10, it tastes horrible. That's another
Mm.
thing I learned. The cheaper the agave, the worse it tastes. And so, of course, they would try to tell you, oh, you can buy, this agave is cheaper and you could sell it for $27, $29. And I would just, have to politely tell them, I don't drink $23 tequila. So why would I sell it? Honestly,
Yeah.
I want a premium agave so that I can sell it for a price that's not too expensive, but that's reputable. And that's just who I am. Why do I? But they automatically think rapper and just get some cheaper because they want to get right. And I know there is a race thing there with that. So that's a lot of the barrier that I find myself dealing with too.
Hmm.
So I had to really kick down the table and make a seat for myself and say, no, I don't want a rapper. Why do all Black people have to have a rapper with their tequila? They don't. We're
Hmm.
educated women, you know, we're sister friends. We're gals. And no, I don't want a $23 a bottle of tequila full of sugar and crap. I want a premium tequila. So my tequila generally sells between 60 to $69 a bottle.
Okay.
And which is I think is a nice price. It's not too overpriced for some.
No. And again, you pay for quality, right? That is a fact in life of wherever you come from, quality is distinctive based on what you're paying. And there's value in that. So, All right, so that day-to-day operation right now, let's talk about what is it that you're doing from a daily perspective. You have the distributor, which kind of eases the pain of, back and forth and understanding. So once these
Yes.
tastings go well, the people then order from the distributor, and then the distributor
Yes.
goes to
They
the
work.
co-packer and manufacturer, and that's kind of the
Mhm.
revenue cycle, and then also the what do you call it? The distribution.
No, well, the distribution, I brought all my tequila, so I shipped it all to the warehouse for my distributor here in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So all my tequila is already here. So once the store orders from the distributor, he has it shipped, the truck takes it to there on delivery day, whatever delivery day that it is. So that's I did everything backwards probably. I, but I just know I wanted to do it and by any means necessary. So in my distributor, like, I have people that go out to get stores, but I do a lot of it myself. That's just, I I don't know why. I think because it's so close to my heart. I don't, yeah, I use the distributor, fine, tell me this. Well, the salesperson went to this store and this store wants so many cases, but they want a tasting. Do you want me? No, I'm going. Where is the store? I don't care. I'm going. And I go. I was at Soho House. A friend of mine from Hollywood was in 2 weeks ago from LA, and we went to Soho House, and I had brought her a bottle with me in a bag to give to her because she hadn't tasted it. And she walks up to the bar and she's like, "Hey, you need to get this tequila. Let's taste it." And they're like, "We can't open, another bottle that's not on our shelf." And she go get the manager. And the manager comes out and she's like, "This is my friend's tequila. I want to taste it and I want your bar people to taste it because you need to get it here." And the manager looks at me and she goes, "You want this?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Guys, open it and let's taste it." And they loved it. And she's like, "Email me. Let's see what we can do, to get it here at Soul House, Chicago." So it's
Wow.
things like that that tells me you're maybe on the right road. Just keep going. But so my
No,
day to day is different because I contact people myself. I contact stores myself. I don't leave it all up to the market area part of the distribution business because it's me. So it's my tequila. It's my love letter. So that's really it's a little different on my end.
no, but I love it because you're actually sharing, right? Go for CEO community. You're learning there that when you have something that you truly believe in, you have to be the all-in person. You have to be the one that's sold out to that vision, and you have to work, right? So
Yeah.
Toya's working her angles,
Yes.
working her connections. Smartly, brings in a friend
Mhm.
that you meet up with and you haven't seen and she hasn't tasted, but she's got influence to that establishment because of who her
Oh, yeah.
credibility is. And now
Exactly.
that gets you connected there. And then your distribution starts to flow, right? And
Mm.
as you said, you're on the right path. Don't
Yeah.
let things bother you. Try to, push through those things. And obviously, then you get to the successful point, which you're already successful. The fact that you're in 35
Yeah.
stores is a success story in and of itself. So it's really, really cool stuff. So your day to day, as far as cash flow, I'm a commercial banker by trade, and obviously I do the podcast to kind of bring more education to
Yeah.
the marketplace and different mindsets and things, and with my book and everything. But what is kind of the cash flow side of this so that people understand? Obviously, you invested, like you said, nearly $500,000. Is everything in a warehouse currently, and then you order more from the manufacturers in
Yeah.
Mexico, or how does that
Yeah.
cycle go through?
Yeah. So everything is in a warehouse currently that I own and pay for. That's completely mine. I said I'm liquid rich. That's what I am, because everything is there. And I'm in the process of doing a canned drink. So I've started that process, and I'll go back to the same distillery, and everything has to be paid up front because that is different country, and there is no credit, there is no but with the side of the store side, is paid by invoice. So you may get paid 30 days or 35 days, and that's basically the daily expense of how you make your money back. I sell it to them for what my price is, and then they put on to it whatever they want to make something out of it. So they are gonna be higher than what I sell it to the store for. The store is gonna charge what they charge. So that part I didn't understand until I got in the business. I knew they had to make money. But it is they put a price on it that they feel that should be there and what they can make on their end. But mine is a set price that they buy it for.
Yeah, my understanding
And
typically
that's
in
what
retail is about
they
100 to
uh
150% markup, right? So I'm assuming you're somewhere in that 20-30 range to them, and they're in the 60 to 69 range. Is
no,
that fair to
no,
say?
no, no, no. I'm
Oh,
higher,
your
a little
60 to
higher.
69 is your price to them?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay, so are they
There,
in the retail store?
yeah. In the retail store, they're probably making maybe almost $20 a bottle.
Okay, so what are they selling in the
I,
retail
I,
stores? I'm sorry?
they sell it in some retail stores. It sells for $69.
Okay. So
Okay,
then,
some sell
but
for 59.
okay. And so there's a
But
little bit of a range.
exactly, there's a range. But I'm making more than the retail store.
Okay.
Does that
So
make
they're
sense?
obviously they're going by volume and they're going by what they hopefully can
Exactly.
move the product. And
Exactly. And what I've noticed, if in certain areas, in some stores, if it don't sell for the price that they want it for, they will drop the price.
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because
that too,
that
you have
tasting typically establishes what maybe, let's say a good crowd of people that now have tasted it and they may buy it right then and there. And then their next buy could be, I don't know, a month from now, 2 months, depending on how fast they drink that bottle, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So,
They
and
now
then what I learned was that the demographics, depending on where you at, if I'm in a certain demographic area, I may sell 3 bottles. In an area that's not very wealthy or middle income, no one is going to walk in on a Friday night and buy a $60 bottle of tequila in certain areas. But last night, the area that I was in, I sold every bottle, and it was $60 a bottle, and I sold every bottle that they had, and I did that last weekend too. So it depends on the demographics, as everything does. If
yeah.
people like to drink a good tequila, they're gonna buy it,
Yeah. Well, and
regardless
you're
of the
telling that
price.
story, right, to these professional women or to people that are really connecting to that story of Hermanas Amigas. And,
Yeah.
they feel, wow, this is something that I could, just sip and enjoy and have a
Mhm.
story behind what I'm drinking, right, which is so cool as
Exactly.
well. So right now, is the business of Hermanas Amigas, is it just you right now and the distributor, or do you have some people working kind of like foot soldiers going out there, maybe placing them in the shelves? Are you doing any type of merchandising?
No, it's just me. I own this just me by myself and my distributor and my hermanas, my amigas. They go and like when they was there before I got there last night and start setting up. But once it's delivered to the store, they place everything, up hours, and it's just me.
All right. Well, I love it.
It's
I mean,
just
I
me.
think, one of the greatest things coming out of this is that, out of tragedy comes an opportunity, inspiration. And then obviously, I love that your sisters, amigas, right, came to your rescue
Yeah.
and kind of supported you in this tough time, which, there's many stories out there that unfortunately sometimes people stay alone, they feel alone, and you don't have people supporting. So you're very lucky in that sense. And then you came out and really did something with that overall. So, when we end our interviews here at Go4CEO, we do CEO, which is client experience, engagement, and operational excellence. So let's go through that. So client experience, when you think about what Hermanas Amigas is going to do for that client that takes that bottle, brings it home, and wants to enjoy it with their family, with their spouse, with someone that they love, what is that experience going to be in your words?
Delightful, and depending on what that person is going through in their life, I think it's endearing or it is hopeful. If they know my story and depending on what they're going through, humans, we're visual and we're physical beings, so we connect in different ways. And so I believe that they connect with my story some way or another. I lost my mother, or I lost my husband, but yet here I still stand. And so I think it is, I think it's hopeful, and it's love, and it's friendship. So I think that experience for that person when they go home, and like one guy told me last night, he said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to open the tequila, and I'm going to smoke me a good cigar, and I'm just going to enjoy the taste. So I'll just say enjoyment. And I thought that was just wonderful what he said he was
I
going to do,
love
because
it.
I do the same thing. I drink my tequila I love cigars. I drink my tequila with a cigar. Yeah.
And the great
So I
tequilas are
think
sipping
I
tequilas,
think,
right? You're really enjoying the flavors, the aroma, the back taste, right? The way it settles in your taste buds and then goes through your nose, and the feeling of it. So it's really a total experience. So I really appreciate you sharing delight, right? And then what was the other word?
yes, hopeful,
Hopeful. Okay, delight and
and
hopeful.
delight and hopeful. Yeah,
I
and
love,
love, because it was
and
made
love
from
and love.
love.
Go4CEO community, delight, hopeful, and love, man. Three powerful words
And love.
that you could take back,
Yeah.
and especially when you go pick up your bottle of Hermanas Amigas
Oh,
Tequila. So,
yes, please,
all right.
please.
So E is for engagement of CEO. So engagement is all about like, hey, how do you interact with your vendors? How do you interact with these stores? How do you interact with you told the story that you didn't like this guy at the beginning, but now you guys are like best friends. Tell us a little bit about what you do that is so engaging in both businesses, right? Tell us about how Toya engages with vendors, clients, all that type of stuff. What's your mojo?
Well, the first thing I do when I go to the store, I let them know that this is me. This is my tequila. I am not, just a taster. And they go, "Oh, you're the real person, right?" And so now it's gotten so that they said, "We want Toya to come. Can Toya be here?" Because they didn't want anyone. I said, "Yeah, I'll be here." So I let them know. And then what I know just from healthcare side of things, everyone wants to be seen, and everyone wants to be heard. So I engage with my cousin. We hug when they buy my tequila. I hug them, or I come out and I hold their hand, and I say, they tell me their story, and I'm listening. And so that's why there was a line, and I had to keep moving because I get engaged with the people, and everybody wants to be seen. So I introduce myself to the owners of the store, and then I ask them, "Do you want to taste it? You've probably never tasted it. I'd love for you to taste it." Or I leave them the bottle that the sample that I use for them. And one of those guys, he said, "My father loves tequila." I said, "Give this to your dad." One of the owners of the store. So it's all about being human. And I think people have got so far away from just human dignity and integrity and just loving people. And I love people. So I think it's the engagement that I have with the people. And I just want to I know what it's like to be at the bottom. I know what it's like to not want to get out of bed. I've been there. Like now, this is hard. Fall is really hard for me because I lost both my mother and my husband in October.
Mm.
So I've been really feeling not me lately. I'm really emotional. And so last night when people was like, I'm so I wanted to cry. I had to stop myself not from crying. Don't feel sorry for me. This made me so much stronger. I never wanted to be a single parent. When my husband was married, I'm gonna tell you something. I was gonna be a nun. I was going to be a nun. Yes,
Wow.
yes. So this is a total, unbelievable story here. From nun to healthcare to selling to working with international medical doctors. And so it's that side of me, it's that love that I have for people and everybody just want to be seen. I'm
I
glad I
love it.
met you. I see
No, hey,
you. And I love the things you have to say. And that you're in finance, but you're doing a podcast. How different is that, right?
yeah, I know. It starts with what you just said, right? Engagement is about loving the people, right? And then putting yourself in that
Yeah.
space so you can engage and talk and connect, right? Which is what's going to be the force multiplier of Hermanas Amigas without having to have that rapper and all that other craziness, right? That genuine story and that genuine love is going to be the
Exactly.
multiplier, and you'll see and you know this already that that's going to be what the winning ingredient is. So the last one is operational excellence. Obviously you had to learn this business, you had to figure out logistics and supply chain and distribution and then selling
Yeah.
and marketing. Like, do I get an endorsement? All that type of thing. So what are some of the tools that you use? And it could be as simple as QuickBooks or something like that. But what are the operational tools that you use so that obviously you're managing this doctor business and you got this tequila business? How do you
Yes.
keep organized? What are some of the tricks of the trade that you're using?
Okay, at first I don't sleep really. Well, I really haven't. When my husband died, when my husband died, my sleep went out the window. And you have to remember my doctor business. Most of these people are out of our country. They're in India, or Pakistan or China, and so their night is my day. So my day usually starts about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up doing emails or Zoom with these doctors from India or another country or Dubai because it's their daytime. So to be up, I'm up every day. I'm up working from bed about 2, but I'm out of the bed by 4
Mm,
because that's when full swing is, daytime for there. So I have to use QuickBooks for my doctor business, and I use QuickBooks to keep a log, to keep a track of the amount of tequila that I'm using for samples. I do a lot of sponsorships. Everybody wants me to come. Every organization that have heard about me invites me to come somewhere. I'm not a big company. I can't supply drinks for everyone at your event, but I can do tastings, because it doesn't take that many bottles to do a tasting. So, but as far as the financial aspect of the payments and the invoice, the distributor handles that. They distribute straight. I don't have a license to distribute. Okay, that's done by the distributor. I am the owner of the tequila, of the product.
mm.
So the laws are so stringent, so tight that you have to go by the book, you know. That's what I tell people. People like, oh, give me a bottle of tequila. I do not have a cases of tequila in my garage, people. No, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't want to get in trouble for that.
You
So
would be surprised. People think because you own it. When I ran out last night at the tasting, I had to buy a bottle from the store to continue my tasting because I ran
that's
out of my that I brought with me.
yeah.
So I still have to buy it. That's just how it's done.
Well, that's so awesome. I love it, Toya, that, we met randomly at a golf outing that you were
Yeah.
sponsoring a hole, and I saw that energy, that vibe between the Hermanas Amigas, and then you told a
Oh,
story, and you took me up on a whim, right? You didn't know who I was. We took a quick picture, we posted it on LinkedIn
we
and on
did.
on Instagram and
Yes.
stuff to promote you. And thank you so much for making the time.
Oh,
Why don't we end with how are some of the, if there's some store owners, if there's some other people that want to distribute your brand, obviously going through their networks, what are some of the ways that they can get a hold of you, and how do they connect with you?
oh, great. Well, they can connect with me on my website at www.hermanasamigastequila.com. Um, they could go to Instagram and follow me at Hermanas Amigas Tequila. And they also can email me directly, Toya Banks at hermanasamigastequila.com, and Facebook at hermanasamigastequila.com. Everything is Hermanas Amigas. And if you want to email me, just put the Toya Banks in front of it and they can contact me directly.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Toya, thank you so much for making the time.
Oh, thank
These are the
you.
things that inspire me, right? When I'm doing the podcast, it's been a few years. I'm not the biggest podcast, but I love giving the
Thank
stories
you.
of Toya Banks, of
Oh,
people that are doing things, that are creating new avenues, that are creating new ways to become in the marketplace, right? This isn't an easy space, ladies and gentlemen. The spirits and liquor space is not easy to break into, and sometimes you need millions of dollars. But Toya is doing it grassroots. She's doing it with the spirit of love, which is a force multiplier in on earth, right? When
yes,
you put
it
out love,
is.
it multiplies. So super, super stuff. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Oh, thank you for having me, and God bless you on this journey. You're a wonderful human being. Thank you so much.